Good afternoon, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. Hello and welcome. My name is Grace Murray from the Freer and Sackler, Smithsonian's National Museum of Asian Art. I'm delighted that you have joined us for our fall meditation series. These meditation and mindfulness sessions are continuing every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at this link at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So we hope you will continue to participate. And we have our two wonderful teachers, Aparna Sadananda and Philip Bender, joining us again for sessions this fall. As we did last year, we will feature artworks from the museum collection each Friday, and we will have spotlight talks by curators, conservators, and other special guests, and occasionally share other resources as well. So stay tuned for more about that. Today, we have Aparna Sadananda here to lead our art-based meditation session. So I will turn it over to her. Welcome, Aparna.
Thank you so much, Grace, and namaste, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us again as we kickstart this new session of art-based meditations this Friday. Let's get started with our practice today. Today's practice is inspired by mindfulness. And to practice this meditation, I invite you to find a way of sitting upright and also sitting as comfortably as you can. All right, yogis. So please find that comfortable posture where your shoulders can relax. The back can be long, but at the same time, easeful. If you must put a pillow or two behind your back, you can do that. And then take a moment to adjust your screen so you can see your device screens clearly. Because throughout this practice, all that you need to be able to do is see and hear my voice clearly. So today, our practice is focused on the theme of centering our attention, arriving and centering our attention. And in that journey, we are inspired by a square mirror, which I would like to share with you right now. Here's the mirror. And what we see on our screen right now is the back side of that mirror. So if we had a picture of the other side, it would be a reflective surface. And we chose this work of art today because often practicing mindfulness and bringing awareness to the self, whether it's the body or the mind or anything else that we associate with the self, it's like observing with a mirror. So here we are with this square mirror, very ornate, having different kinds of floral and bird motifs. And we'll get to the details in a few moments from now. But let's take this time to close our eyes maybe or lower the gaze so we could center our attention. If your mind is curious about this object, just kindly remind yourself that in a few moments we'll share links and you'd learn more factual information about this beautiful art object. But for now, let's come back to being here now. So with eyes closed or gaze lowered, bring your awareness to the body. Notice the body's presence in the space that you're practicing from. In that spirit, gently allow your attention to scan through your feet, the shins and the calves, the knees and the thighs, the hips and the seat, the back, the lower back, the upper back, the shoulders, tops of the chest, the waist, the arms and hands, the neck, the face, the entire body. Bring your awareness to the entire body so we can deepen the quality of embodiment. We know and we are being in our presence in the present moment. If you'd like to, you may imagine you're looking at yourself, at your body in a mirror, just as you are, right here, right now. As the mind goes into a loop of analysis and judgments, just remind yourself to come back and be a witness. Each moment, we're in the awareness of being here now. Also aware of our presence in that space. Breathing in, we're here now. Breathing out, we're together. Breathing in, we're here now. Breathing out, we're together. And whenever we have centered our attention, we may gently open the eyes. And even in that, can we gaze at the screen, allowing light to reach the eyes instead of reaching out? Now let's begin our journey of observing this object much more closely. Let's start by noticing the shape of this mirror. Notice the square shape with curved edges. Noticing how the curvature at the edges gives a sense of continuity. Like bringing in that continuity in a circle to the shape of a square. So now we could be inspired by this shape and we can practice a square breathing. As you inhale, trace with your gaze one of the edges of the square, one of the sides of the square. And on the exhale, trace the adjacent edge. Then inhale as you trace the third edge of that square. And exhale through the fourth. So let's practice this square breathing for about a minute. As our attention rests in the outermost boundary, the square-shaped boundary of this object, we may choose to close our eyes and liken this boundary to the farthest where our thoughts are. If you notice some of your thoughts jumping out way ahead in the future or way back in the past, compare all these thoughts as manifestations of your energy, forming like an outermost ring. That's how far yourself has embodied or reached out at this moment. And now we have a choice to allow the attention to stay there or slowly draw that attention back to this body, back to being present through this body. And when we have centered our attention this way, we could open our eyes or look at the screen to now notice the details that are immediately inside the square-shaped boundary. Here, let's zoom in so we could appreciate the nitty-gritties, the intricacies of the work. What do we see here? We're seeing the huge phoenix-like birds in silver. And they seem to have landed or perched on some surface. And then next to these silver birds, we can see smaller birds. If we're looking at the lower side of the square, and two of these birds in flight framing a plant or a floral motif in the center. Then we could move our attention further out to the left side. So we're moving in a clockwise direction. We notice something different here, an insect that looks a lot like a butterfly. These two butterflies framing again a vine or a floral motif in gold. We continue our journey clockwise. Again, we see the two flying birds. Then moving to the right, again, we find these butterfly-like insects. What are the different ways you can notice symmetry in this object? Right here at the periphery. And notice how the symmetry is also a reflection of the shape. Shape is square. That symmetry reminding us of the quality of balance. Balance between two halves, sometimes opposite halves. So now from here, can we take another minute to bring in that quality of symmetry to our breathing, making the inhales and exhales as equal to each other as we can. And as we explore this space, which is somewhat peripheral but also interior to the boundary, we compare this to the space of our meditation practice today, the space that surrounds the body, and all the different objects that might fill that space between this body and between the outermost ring of thoughts. Then coming back, closely looking at this mirror. And now zoom in a little bit more to appreciate this inner ring of birds and butterflies or moths. And then frame a very arabesque pattern, floral vines and flowers, leaves, right here. And we could imagine this inner ring, floral motifs, this arabesque pattern, as the body, as the physical body. Just for a moment, can we attune to the skin that surrounds the whole body? Skin as the boundary between what is within and the world outside. Here you might notice the intertwining of the thoughts, emotions, feelings, and bodily sensations, just like the intertwining of floral vines in the pattern that we see. And then we see that this motif, this ring-like pattern, is enclosing a medallion, a flower-like medallion in the center, just like the body is enclosing the breath and the play of the breath and life force itself. So maybe for a minute, let's focus on the breath wherever we can feel it expand and relax to the inhale and exhale. And just as we attune to the breath, notice that beyond the body, beyond the breath, there's something that is a symbol of consciousness within. Like something within, like a seer who cannot be seen, but without whom seeing cannot happen. Imagine if we could symbolize this seer, this conscious witness within, as a dot. This dot is the source of everything Without this dot, there's no body, there's no life. And yet, this dot is often veiled by layers of illusions in the phenomenological world. Just like that central golden dot in this mirror. Now, from the perspective of this dot, let's try to observe the different layers that we've been looking at. Notice how the pattern, especially in the center, seems to radiate out. Can you use this as an inspiration to feel the light of consciousness within and that imaginary dot within, radiating out, permeating the layers of life as breath, as body, as thoughts, and everything else that we experience through this body. And notice no matter how many thoughts, how many distractions could be existing for the mind at this point of time, we all have a choice to access that center and to see the world from that center, from that stillness. Imagine if the birds in the periphery were thoughts, sometimes thoughts that are here to stay, sometimes thoughts that are in movement and transition. We all have a choice to come back to the center. Just for the next minute, let's focus our gaze to that center. And if your peripheral vision wants to observe the rest of this mirror, you could do so. But keep your breath smooth and easy while fixating your gaze to that central dot. How does the mirror's back seem to you now when you fix your gaze to the center? What takes on priority? Do you still see the cracks in the base of this mirror? Or is your attention tethered to the ornate details? Notice the power of your own attention to energize whatever it goes towards. And notice the obedience of your senses when the attention is the master. What is it that we would like to give this energy to? So the senses can be guided towards that which is meaningful and purposeful. And how may we do all of that and also fulfilling our responsibilities in the different walks of our life? We set those as intentions to come back to the body, come back to our presence where we are just as we are. And then joining palms in prayer. Maybe bow to the light within. Maybe bow to the light of all the teachers of yoga, as well as the light of the artists who created this beautiful work of art, serving as our inspiration today. And finally, maybe bow to the light that connects and binds each one of us here as a community, cultivating this sense of togetherness. The light in me honors the light in you. Breathing in, I'm here now. Breathing out, we're together. Thank you so much for choosing to share your presence, practice, and attention with me today. I hope this practice was useful to you and it offered you newer and more fresh ways of looking at this work of art and engaging with it in a different way.
Thank you, Aparna, for that beautiful session and for bringing this artwork to life for us. That was a mirror from Tang Dynasty China from the 8th century. So a very, very small, intimate, very old object, but just brought into the present moment through Aparna's meditation practice today. Thank you for that. Next week on Friday, Phil Bender will be joining us, and he will do an introductory session based on an artwork that he's chosen from the museum collection that is meaningful to him. Following that, in October, we'll kick off having a monthly theme. So we're going to be looking at our Hokusai exhibition at the Freer Gallery, which is currently open and available for people to go in person to see. We'll be looking at several different artworks from that exhibition in the digital space in our meditation sessions in October, and using those artworks by the Japanese artist Hokusai to really think about mindfulness and what it means to observe and look carefully. So we hope you'll continue to join us in the coming weeks, and we'll look at more artworks and have some special guests coming up. Thank you all and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you so much, Grace, for this session, as well as facilitating all of our meditation sessions online since March 2020. We're very, very grateful. And we're also grateful to everyone who's been a part of this wonderful, loving community. We hope you enjoyed this offering today, and we hope to come back on Monday with yet another meditation practice. And as Grace said, we'll follow up on Wednesday and Friday. And Friday, we'll have this art-based meditation led by Philip Bender, my wonderful colleague. Thank you so much, and keep practicing mindfulness. See you all again on Monday. Namaste.